Hey everyone, it's the fall, and what do we do in the fall? Well, if we were in Germany, it'd be Oktoberfest. And guess what? We're making pretzels, and we're having some beer with those pretzels. Let's make some soft beer pretzels. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Dave Guerra. This is This Vet Cooks. I want to thank everybody for coming back for another exciting, action-packed episode. This time, it's a fan selection, fan submission. That's right. So if you get an idea, something you want to see cooked, by all means, you want to see me bake something, make something, whatever, put it down in the comments, put it down in the show notes. And today, from Talking Shenanigans, that's who submitted this one. We're doing soft beer pretzels, soft beer pretzels. And what do we need for all of that? Let's dive into the ingredients, then we'll get started. Soft beer pretzels. First, we're going to need some flour, and a lot of flour. No, not that much flour. We're going to also need some kosher salt. So we definitely got to have that kosher salt. Some vegetable oil, baking soda, and yeast. Okay, don't be confused here. We're going to need this later on in the process. This is for the dough. The yeast is for the dough. Okay, we don't need this whole block of yeast. Please do not use the whole block of yeast for this recipe. But again, like I said, don't be mistaken. Don't be in a panic. Why is he using soda and yeast? No, this is for later on. Also, what else are we going to need? We're going to need, like I said, 6 cups of water, 1 egg, lightly beaten. Again, we're going to just lightly beat that egg. No need to call the authorities. And the piece de resistance, what's going to make soft beer pretzels, we're using Shiner's Weisse-n-Easy. Weisse-n-Easy. And Weizen, it's a German word for wheat. And so it's a wheat beer. It's a little darker, a little cloudier. It's really good, really tasty. Serve that in one of those tall Pilsner glasses. I think I have one back here someplace. And serve it with that and a slice of lemon right on top, just laying flat. It's fantastic. Ice cold, even better. But we're going to, well, you know what? Let's just get started. All right, so the first thing we need to do is to separate our ingredients. Once all the dry ingredients go into a bowl, flour, some salt, and the yeast. Okay, the yeast goes in with the flour. That's it. We don't mix it yet with the liquid. Next, in a separate container, we're going to heat up some water. We're going to heat up the beer, 2/3 cup of beer. So you know what that means? That's right. We have leftovers. We have leftovers. So cheers. Oh, that's going to be nice. Oh, it's a little fruity too, so not too shabby. And oil. We got some water, oil, and beer. Do the mix? No, you can actually, if you can actually see it separate. Anyway, so let's heat up the water, get it up to temperature 120 degrees, and then we're going to mix it in here and start stirring it up and getting it all together, and we'll start kneading the dough. Alrighty, so we've heated up our water. We've got it all ready to go, or liquid, sorry, the water, the oil, and the 2/3 cup of Weizen beer. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and just dump this in over here in camera 2. So there it is. It's doing all its fizzy stuff, doing its magic with the beer. Now, it does say use a mixer and everything, but you can use a wooden spoon and just get it in there and get it mixed in. Make sure you mix everything. Eventually, we're going to get it all nice and elastic, smooth and elastic. Then at that point, we can add additional flour because we definitely want it all to mix up. We definitely want it a little drier than what it is now because it does need to rise. We've mixed all the wet and the dry together. We're kneading it. We're on about a 5 to 6 minute countdown timer. And over here on camera 2, this is kind of what it should look like as you are kneading the dough. So you see it starts picking up all that extra stuff. It feels a little warm, and it should. The dough should, because again, don't forget, you just finished heating up all that liquid. And so you know it's incorporated throughout the dough. And as soon as we get the notification that we are done kneading, it looks good. It should be smooth. It's already feeling smooth. It should be elastic. There's that elasticity, see? It tore apart. So it's looking good. So we'll knead it here a couple more minutes. And then we're going to let it sit. Back here, camera 1. Then we're going to let it sit here for about 15 minutes so it rises. And then we're going to move on to the next part. So let's get ready to finish this up and prep it. We're going to cover it. Loosely cover with a cloth. You don't have to do anything fancy. Okay, so we've got the dough. It's already there. We'll set the 15-minute timer here in just a second. Again, depending on where you're at, in some cases the cloth doesn't have to be damp, doesn't have to be moist, it can just be a plain cloth. And again, it might work, might not work for you. So in this case down here, we're using where I'm at, we're using a cling wrap. That'll do it. Hold it, just put it under loosely. As you see over here on camera 2, it's not too tight. It's loose, but it's going to contain that, and it's already starting to do what's magic. So let it rise 15 minutes in a warm place. All right, hey, so the yeast is, the dough is rising for the pretzels. Again, the soft beer pretzels. Hey, listen, like I said at the beginning, that's a fan submitted request. So again, if you've got one, submit it. And who submitted that? Well, that's Talking Shenanigans. That's my brother and his wife, their show, their online show. And again, check it out when you get a chance. Great stuff. A lot of great, it's fun. It's fun. It'll get you thinking. It'll get you highly motivated, that's for sure. Get your mind going, and that's a good thing. So shows need to do that. Not only should they educate, like This Vet Cooks, but it should also entertain and inform. Like, well, Talking Shenanigans. Check it out. Check it out. It's my brother's show, his wife. Great show. And again, can't say enough about it. So check it out. Tell them This Vet Cooks sent you. Also, I want to thank everybody who follows us on Facebook, facebook.com/thisvetcooks. Also on the Twitter at thisvetcooks. On Instagram, instagram.com/thisvetcooks. Visit the website, www.thisvetcooks.com. And I think I covered just about all the social media apps that we use and we follow and we tag along. And if you follow me, let me know. Let me know there on This Vet Cooks, either on the Facebook or on the Twitter or on the Instagram. I'll give you a shout out, and make sure you're posting content. Don't just follow, but post content, because that's how we interact, that's how we share, that's how we communicate. So again, make sure you're posting comments, make sure you're posting images on, and just sharing information. That's what it's all about. So let me know, and especially you veterans out there that are out there watching. Let me know. Let me know who you are. Let me know what unit you served. Definitely want to hear from you. Want to give your unit a shout out, like I love to give my unit a shout out, the Berlin Brigade. Definitely, if you don't know about the Berlin Brigade, check it out, berlinbrigade.com, or just look us up on the internet. We're everywhere. But check out berlinbrigade.com. Greatest unit ever in the U.S. Army, U.S. military history. So, thank you. Hey, again, just want to make sure everybody's out there that needs to reach out. Even if you don't need to reach out, you just got questions, you've got something just nagging in the back of your mind, by all means, reach out. 1-800-273-8255. It's the Veterans Crisis Line. Veterans Crisis Line. So, get ahead of it. Look over the horizon. You see something happening, something's just not feeling right. Get ahead of it. Get ahead of it before it actually turns into something bigger. It grows and it festers, and then, it's never too late, but you don't want to get to that point. So, nip it, as they used to say in that TV show, nip it in the bud. So again, 1-800-273-8255, the Veterans Crisis Line. Press the 1 button on your keypad or on your phone, again, to reach that appropriate department. They'll be able to take care of you. They'll talk to you. They'll send you in the right direction. If they can send you in the right direction, they will. But don't forget, everybody there that answers that phone is trained to talk to you. So again, reach out, make the call, especially if you got something nagging, just not too sure about something just doesn't feel right, you're not thinking right, you feel a change, but not the right kind of change that you want. By all means, 1-800-273-8255. Press the number 1 when the automated attendant answers. Make the call, please. I'm asking. I'm not begging, I'm asking. It behooves you to make the call. Alrighty, so it's been rising, resting for 15 minutes. The yeast doing its magic thing that the yeast does. And so that's why the temperature needs to be just right on. Okay, there we go. In camera 2, you see it has risen. It's still a little warm. Still feels a little warm, but next thing it says to do is to go ahead and cut it in half. Okay, so there we go. We just cut that in half. And then it says to cut it into 6 equal pieces, because this recipe is going to make 12 or a dozen pretzels. So let's careful now. There we go. 2. I might need to play with this a little bit, but I think that's might be it. That's a little too small. Yeah, there we go. And no, yeah, it's a little too small. You can always take from one to give to the other, and make sure they're all about the same length, feel, weight. And what we're going to do is roll these out into 14-inch lengths, and then that's how we're going to do our braid, our pretzel braid. Now, why pretzels? Well, obviously my brother, talking shenanigans over there, requested it, so that. But pretzels, love pretzels. If you've ever had fresh baked pretzels, you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever had, now it does say, it does say to cover it up, let it sit again for another, or just let it rest while you're working on the first 14, or the first 6, sorry about that, the first 6, and then, because you're going to make 12 altogether, so just set that aside, no worries. And then we're going to start rolling this out. So as I was saying, now, so you got to be careful. I'm using a mat here, but there we go. I got to get it going to roll. And lightly floured. And we will go ahead and I'll stop talking, let it do this thing. This thing just moves too much. That's the only downside behind this. We're out of this. Guess what we're going to do, folks? That's right. We're just going to go ahead and that's the oven is ready. Oh, at this point, yeah, it definitely would be just before you start this. And of course, you're watching this video before you actually make anything. I would preheat the oven at 400 degrees. There we go. Now, see, this does not move. A little bit better to work with. Much better to work with. Oh my goodness. It is, it's not rolling, it's... Okay, so over here on camera 2, we've rolled one out. Finally got it going. And I have a ruler next to it, so you want to get it down to about 14 inches. So, yeah, that's fine. And really all you need to do is just do a little braid. Give it some room. Make sure you have some room. There is your pretzel braid. And why do you need room? Here, here, and here in these 3? One, because when you're going to dip it into the boiling water with the baking soda, that's where the baking soda goes. You can do that for 30 seconds. Well, it's going to puff up. And what'll happen is it'll all mash up together. By giving it that space, it has room to grow, it has room to puff up, it has room to expand. And when then you throw it in the oven, it all bakes. It's not all just jammed up into something. You have room, it all works itself into it. So there you go. Let's go ahead and do this next one here. Yeah, we're still having problems rolling it. It just, I guess we had a little too much flour. But you can also do the vertical roll and then just work your hand as you work it down. You work it down like that. So anyway, you got that. And again, get that. That. Pinch it down if you need to. Here, here, and here. There's plenty of room. And that's not working. We'll figure it out. So again, just rework it. I think we didn't go all the distance. We've rolled them out. We've crossed their arms. The little kids are praying. The whole story behind that is that priest wanted to get the kids' attention while they were in church. Back in someplace else, so he had some dough. He said, you know what, let's do this. And kids with their arms crossed like they're praying, whatever. And he gives it to the kids. They're eating it while church is going on. So they say you can't eat at church. Tell that to the guy who invented the pretzels. Again, it was sanctioned by the church because it was a priest. So with that being said, next time you go to church, take a pretzel. I don't know about the beer, but then again, it's made with wheat, right? And this is made with wheat. Anyway, this is what it looks like over here on camera 2. There they are, arms crossed, a baking sheet, cookie sheet, lightly greased. And we're going to cover it up 15 minutes, let it rise again. Okay, so we're back. We've got the water boiling. We did add the baking soda, the 2 tablespoons of baking soda. It had to come back up. Okay, it had to come back up because it cooled down. The baking soda obviously is not at 212 degrees when it went into the water. So it cooled the water down. Now I am using the 1 burner. So it's taking just a little bit longer to burn or to boil the water, but it does come back up eventually. And you see it now, it's a slow boil. All right, so we've got our pretzels. I did add an extra twist. I did do a practice one before. That one started coming apart the moment I dropped it in the water. We're going to drop it in the water for 30 seconds. We're going to turn once halfway through. There it is. And you can do multiples if your pan allows it. So we're just going to stick with 3. You know what? We can do 4. Let's go with 4. There they are. And again, the water's not boiling. It could just be because we have that baking soda that is inhibiting the return to the boil. It's also obviously the burner. So it's because it's going off and on, off and on. So it's trying to keep up. But we'll see here. Alrighty. And we're going to go ahead and flip now. And to flip, you might need a little assistance, but that's all right. Oops. Now, as you see here, the extra twist in the pretzel is really helping to keep it together. Oh, that didn't work out so well. There we go. And also, you know which ones you flipped and which ones you haven't. Unlike donuts, when you have to flip them, you can't tell, right? Yes, you can, because one side's done, the other side isn't. All right, so finish up here. Then once you put them back onto the wire rack, make sure the wire rack is greased or sprayed with that non-stick material or spray. And we are ready to take it out. So apparently we're not going to get a boil again. That's interesting. Ugh. And again, it is pliable, so if something happens as you're moving it, you can still work with it. But for the most part, you're only doing a dozen, so you should have no problem here. Yeah, look at that. They're all falling over really nice and neat. So get them all boiled up, 30 seconds each. And I'll show you what to do here in just about a minute. All right, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to take this over to camera 2 because this is all going to be on camera 2. Here we are. They're all the pretzels already out of the water. 30 seconds, all done, nice and neatly. So here's where we get the egg. And yes, we beat the crap out of the egg. Yes, it was beaten. So we're going to brush. We're going to brush the egg onto. There we go. Let's just do that. And we have our handy dandy egg brush here. And we're going to brush the eggs all the way around. And again, you're only making a dozen, so you don't have to, you got to make the egg last. It will last. And there we go. Get it in there, nice little crevices. This is going to help with the turning it brown. Now we're going to bake it for about 400 degrees for about 10 minutes or until brown. And you've seen pretzel brown, it's great. There we go, I had a little too much there, but that's all right. Keep it wet. And I think we have enough for our next half dozen. Now, the NaCl, we're using that bigger sea salt, so now we just sprinkle it over the top. As little or as much as you like. Some people like their pretzels really salty with those big granules of salt, and some don't. That's okay. Whatever works for you. There they are. Of course, they do make bigger granules, but for the most part, that's it. All right, so there it is. Let's go straight to the oven. All right, well, here we are. Camera 2, we're ready. That's it. A dozen pretzels out of the oven, 400 degrees, about 10-15 minutes, depending on your oven. Now, because I used 2 racks, I was able to now narrow down where my hot spot is in the oven. And you should know where your hot spots are in the oven, especially we're going into this baking season. And this is one of the first things I'm baked this season. More to come. More to come. And speaking of more to come, it's that time, folks. It is that time. You ready? I'm going to reach. Here it is up here. I'm going to reach up here. Well, hopefully I don't knock it all down. I pick one and I take a look at it. And what is it? Fish tacos. Fish tacos, everybody. I do recall that is a requested item, fish tacos. So with that being said, oops, let me get that under here before I get that. So there it is. Fish tacos. I do think it was Nicole, so thank you, Nicole. Guess what? Fish tacos on the way. So there we go. The next one is fish tacos. So, my mouth's already watering for that one. That should be good. And so, again, thanks again. Listen, time for me to dive in. And how do you dive in with these? How do you eat these? Any number of ways. Mustards, that's usually the thing, mustard. And you can do, what's that horseradish mustard. Oh, if you like that extra kick, definitely. Plain old yellow mustard, without a doubt. Honey mustard, a little honey in there. What is this? Coleman's original English mustard, so a little bit of that. And of course, French's stone ground Dijon mustard. No Grey Poupon today, sorry. I do not have any Grey Poupon today. But there is another way you can eat these. You can also add the cheese snack, little cheese snack on top of it. Spray that on, eat it, cheese. It doesn't have to be this. It must be. It has to be this. Okay. But you can do that beer barrel. What's it called? The pub cheese. It comes in a little tub. You can also, put a knife on it, a cheese knife, and spread it on your pretzel. Either way, whatever. It's already, my mouth's watering because I know what's coming. Either way, with your favorite beverage, grab yourself a pretzel and, oh my, oh, that's fantastic. Now you can leave it in the oven just a little bit longer to harden up, get a little drier, a little softer, but these are soft beer pretzels, and they are soft. You can taste the beer, but you can taste everything else. Oh, and just in case you don't taste enough beer, here you go. Cheers. Prost. Everyone, time to sit down and watch some football. Taking this batch of pretzels and this beer. I'm Dave Guerra, and guess what? This vet cooks.